Jeanette here with Badass Consulting. I went live a little while ago and it didn't post, so hopefully my ramblings, I think went on for like 13 minutes, will be condensed, so it'll be a little easier to digest. I want to talk about updating sort of your internal operating system, right? This is a metaphor that I like to use to talk about what it is that I do in order to help my clients regain their confidence and take charge of their lives, even if they are working in stressful situations or they're running their own business and they feel like they have, any number of blocks, abundance blocks, visibility issues, they want to show up for themselves, whatever. It's, to me, fundamentally the same issue. So let's just take abundance blocks as one example, right? Somebody really feels like maybe they just don't have the ability to receive money for whatever reason. Now, I think that that's a thought, right? That's something that you think about yourself, not necessarily true, right? Because if it was true that people have abundance blocks, then we wouldn't have as much as we actually have. We live in a pretty abundant society. There are a lot of messaging that we receive around, that people like Mother Teresa or saints or prophets, they live in poverty effectively. And so we have this saintly nature associated with living with less. And then you look at the movies and you'll see that they all suggest that being wealthy is evil. And like, if you look at like even like Marvel superheroes, the only ones who have a lot of money are the ones who don't actually even have superpowers, right? They all buy their superpowers. So enough geeking out there for a minute. Just want to let you know that those are some fundamental reasons as to why you've been programmed the way you are. It's all around you, right? So no wonder that I see people who are like, I have an abundance block, right? So what is that, right? And what do we do about it? So there's some great coaches out there that'll tell you that you need to raise your vibration and you need to, regulate your nervous system and you need to do all these exercises in order to open yourself to receiving. There's loads of activities you can engage in. There's books you can read. There are podcasts. There's so much to give yourself the right mindset, right? So that you can have all this money. Now, if it were true that all you had to do was think about it and then it would happen and manifest, then I think we'd all, probably be a lot happier and it would happen a lot faster for most people, because if you could solve your problem consciously, you absolutely would. So again, we're just sticking with this as a theme. I primarily work with folks around confidence and, anxiety reduction, stress reduction, but let's just use this as our theme. So let's say that you believe that you have an abundance block and you've done all the things, right? You have done the embodiment work, you have done the money rituals, you've got the fake money in your office and you're just like, it's coming. You've done vision boards, you've written yourself blank checks, you've done all the things, not blank checks, but like checks, fake checks with the amount of money that you want to make on it. Done all the things you think consciously to embed this idea. And still, you're having trouble with your business, right? Let's just say you're trying to grow your business, you don't have the clients that you want, or find that people won't pay you what you think you're worth, or they just aren't interested in what you have to offer. There is something going on. No, I will not deny there's something going on, but it typically actually has to do with receiving, right? It's not about a money block. It's not like, oh, I can't have money, and the opposite truth of that is not, well, now that I don't have a money block, I'm going to win the lottery. It's not necessarily the case, but 9 times out of 10, what I see is, and this is, the truth, right? This is a scary truth that people don't necessarily want to hear, but I'm here to tell you. The truth is that there's a block to receiving in your relationships also. So if you're showing up and my clients are saying, yes, I have an abundance block, it actually has nothing to do with money. It never does. There's a relationship with trust, self-trust, or the trust of others. And many of us Gen Xers have grown up fiercely independent, right? It's just who we are. It's how we operate. So of course, it's not on our nature to trust or rely on others. Just how we were raised, right? Feral children, and for all of the wonderful things that came with that, there is an element of this fierce independence and inability to receive love, inability to receive money. So what do we do with something like that, right? So let's just use this as the example. You're updating the operating system, right? So you'll get notification on your phone that says you need to update your operating system. On an Apple iPhone, it's called an iOS, right? It's been a long time since I had an Android, so I don't remember what that's called, but same deal. So what it is you're updating lines of code. You're not updating the entire thing. They're going in and they're saying these items here need to be added or changed or updated so that you can now run new applications, because they're developing the applications based on today's needs, right? Today's world, right? Your applications from 5 or 6 years ago are either outdated or unnecessary, or using something new. So in order to run that new application, you got to update your operating system. And the same is true for the person who has this set abundance block. They want more financial wellness. They want to receive more money through their side gig, side hustle, main business, corporate job. They want those things. That's the application. That's a new application based on today's standards. Today's standards is I gotta make some money, right? But the operating system is still operating in this, I can't receive. I don't know how to do that because it's not safe. Because when I was little, it really wasn't safe. And that's fine, because your operating system got you here, right? It got you to where you are today. You made the calls, it opened the apps, it did everything that you needed to do up until today. And today you're just saying, hey, listen, thanks very much, but we need to have a conversation. We need to update some of the lines of code. Now, there are conscious ways to do it. We've talked, I mentioned a number of those conscious ways to do it. Vision boards, getting a blank check and writing it in, manifestation practices, have the fake money and just like feel really comfortable with it. There's so many things that you can do consciously to actually start to manifest more of this comfort around having more abundance. Those are things that people do, and there's lots of coaches out there that'll tell you that they can help you get $10,000 months. They can, it'll make it easy. You manifest all this all over the place. But the reason that it works for some people and not the majority in this industry, the entrepreneurs that I see, is because some people have a safety net. Some people have the ability to take the risk and feel really comfortable communicating from this place of not lacking anything, right? Because they have security. A partner that takes care of them, a spousal support, child support, savings, maybe they pay for their house outright, so they don't have to worry about that. There are a number of things that people who have this safety, they've already received. They've already broken that barrier. They've already figured out that it's safe for me to receive. I've already got a safety net. I already got this. So they can then take these manifestation practices and put them into play, and it's like, oh, cool. It takes their application to the next level. They don't need to update the entire system. They don't need to spend years in therapy reviewing all of the times where they wasn't safe to receive, right? Because they got it, right? Now, for the rest of us, to be truly efficient, what I do is I go into the current operating system, find that very specific code, that problem, that little knot that says, I want to receive more, but I don't. I want more money, but I'm afraid. If I open myself up to receiving, bad things will happen. And then we just, reframe that fundamentally and change it so that that's not a problem anymore. Time and time again, I have people who were having trouble with their relationships. We work on this supposed abundance block, and their marriages thrive, their relationships are transformed, because it's never about money. It's about the safety to receive. So I try not to put this out here all the time, and yet I feel like it's really important. This is an excellent example of how it is that that I work, right? Because it's easy to speak in these terms. So many of us have heard about abundance blocks. We've talked about them. We believe maybe we have them. So you can see that it's not necessarily about the money. It's about the receiving. So using that as sort of a gigantic metaphor, this is kind of what I do, right? This is just a metaphor for how I work. It doesn't take years of therapy to resolve these issues. What it takes is sort of a strategic way of approaching the issue, right? That if you could have solved it consciously, you absolutely would have. But we go together to find the root cause, the fundamental belief system that is causing you to not take action in the way that you want. At this point, you're running on this old operating system that doesn't give you choice. You don't have the ability to choose how you respond to stressful situations. You don't have the ability to communicate to your management in a way that makes sense to you and gets your needs across. What if you want a promotion and you don't even know how to ask for it, right? Those are things that are just operating out of this old programming. If you want to update that, it's pretty easy. So again, go through all of the manifestation practices that you've seen. You can hire coaches that are going to tell you that they'll be able to fix it for you and give you this sort of program that'll do it, or you can just go and strategically attack the problem and be done. So I attack the problem. That's the badass in me. I would rather just get in and get it out. I don't like grocery shopping. I'm not an aisle shopper. I don't go up and down the aisles. I go in, I get what I need, and I leave. Better yet, I have Instacart do it for me. But the point is that if you enjoy the cathartic nature of reliving your past trauma and talking through it with somebody, there's loads of therapists who do that. That's my background. The reason that I don't practice that kind of therapy is because it didn't feel good to me. It felt like a waste of time. It did, and it was never not getting the results that I wanted. In fact, when I was in therapy, when I was going through a divorce, the woman graduated me in a few weeks. She's like, "You're not the problem." Oh, okay. So what was I seeing her for? It didn't resolve anything. It did normalize some of my behavior. It made me feel a little better with myself, right? But it didn't change what was going on inside me, the reasons that I was there. There wasn't growth, there wasn't progress. That's my personal, story about that. But if that's something you want to do, excellent. There are people for you. If you want to get in, get out, and get on with your life, that's where I come in. That's why I've got Badass Consulting. That's why I'm here to tell you there are options. It's not the same old anymore. You don't have to buy a whole load of junk that someone's telling you that you have to do in order to have the life you want. There's not a whole set of practices that you need to do. It's not going to take years of therapy, and it's not going to take medication in order for you to feel better. And when you feel better and you have choice, that's when you do amazing things. I hope that was helpful.